I woke up in a bed that wasn't mine, staring at a ceiling I'd never seen before. The walls were cream-colored, sterile. Medical equipment beeped softly somewhere to my left. For a moment, I couldn't remember anything, not how I got here. Not when I arrived, not why I was wearing a hospital gown instead of my own clothes. My name is Robert Harrington. I'm 68 years old. I'm a retired civil engineer. I designed bridges for 42 years. And I sure as hell didn't have Alzheimer's disease. But that's what they told me I had. A nurse walked in, young woman, maybe 30, with kind eyes and a clipboard. "Mr. Harrington, you're awake. How are you feeling this morning? Where am I?" My voice came out rough, like I hadn't used it in days. "You're at Evergreen Memory Care, Mr. Harrington. You've been with us for 2 weeks now." 2 weeks? That couldn't be right. I tried to sit up, but my body felt heavy, sluggish. 2 weeks? That's impossible. I don't remember coming here. The nurse's expression softened with what looked like practiced sympathy. "That's very common with your condition, sir. Memory loss is the primary symptom. Your daughter, Lisa, has been very concerned about you." Lisa. My daughter. Relief washed over me. At least I hadn't been abandoned here. "I need to see her. I need to call her." "She visits every day, Mr. Harrington. She'll be here this afternoon." The nurse checked something on her clipboard. "Now, let's get you some breakfast, and then Dr. Williams will be by to see you." After she left, I lay there, trying to piece things together. The last thing I clearly remembered was being at home in Portland. It was fall October, I think. I'd been working in my garage, organizing my old engineering plans. Lisa had come over with Tyler, my grandson. We'd had dinner. She'd made one of those health smoothies she was always pushing on me. Said it was good for my heart. And then, nothing. Just this room. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. Over the next few hours, I paid attention to everything. The facility was nice, too nice, actually. Expensive artwork on the walls, thick carpeting, private rooms. This wasn't some state-run nursing home. This was the kind of place that cost serious money. My daughter arrived around 2 in the afternoon. Lisa was 42, dressed in one of her sharp business suits. She worked in HR for some tech company downtown. She'd always been ambitious, driven. Sometimes I worried she cared more about appearances than people. "Dad." She hugged me, but something felt off about it. Too quick, too perfunctory. "How are you feeling today?" "Lisa, what's going on? Why am I here?" The nurse said, "I've been here 2 weeks, but I don't remember any of it." She sat down in the chair beside my bed, her expression carefully neutral. "Dad, we talked about this. You've been having episodes. The memory problems, the confusion. Do you remember calling the police on Mrs. Chen next door? You accused her of stealing your mail." I blinked. "Mrs. Chen? My neighbor? I never did that." "You did, Dad. 3 months ago. And there was the incident where you left the stove on and almost started a fire. And the time you got lost driving to the grocery store you've been going to for 20 years. None of this sounded familiar. None of it felt true. "I don't have Alzheimer's," I said firmly. "I remember everything. I remember your childhood. I remember your mother. My wife, Catherine, had died 5 years ago. Cancer. The worst year of my life. I remember designing the Hawthorne Street overpass in 2008. I remember Tyler's graduation last year. I remember—" "Dad, please." Lisa's voice was gentle but firm. "This is exactly what Dr. Williams said would happen. Patients with early-stage Alzheimer's often have good long-term memory, but they don't remember recent events. They don't remember the episodes, the dangerous behaviors. That's why I had to make this decision. For your safety. You had me committed. I had you placed in care, yes. I have medical power of attorney. Remember? You signed it after Mom died, in case anything ever happened to you. I had signed that. I remembered signing it. Remembered thinking it was the responsible thing to do. Lisa was my only child, and I'd trusted her completely. But I don't need to be here, I insisted. "Lisa, I'm fine. This is a mistake." She looked at me with what appeared to be genuine sadness. "I know this is hard, Dad. I know you don't understand. But you're not well. The doctors confirmed it. And I can't I can't watch you hurt yourself. She stood up. I have to get back to work. I'll visit tomorrow, okay? After she left, I sat there feeling more lost than I'd ever felt in my life. Was I losing my mind? Was my own perception of reality unreliable? No. Something was wrong with this whole situation. My gut had kept me alive through 68 years and 3 near-death experiences on construction sites. I knew when something wasn't right. I needed answers. The problem was, they'd taken my phone. For your safety, they said. No phone, no wallet, no car keys. I was effectively imprisoned here, and nobody seemed to think that was strange because apparently I had Alzheimer's disease. For the next 3 days, I played along. I took the medications they gave me, mostly vitamins and supplements, they said. I attended the group activities. I smiled and nodded when the staff talked to me like I was a confused child. And I watched. I listened. I learned the routines. On the 4th day, something happened that changed everything. I was in the common room, pretending to watch television, when I saw a familiar face peek around the corner. Tyler, my grandson, 16 years old, tall and gangly, with his grandmother's blonde hair. He caught my eye and put a finger to his lips, then tilted his head toward the hallway. I understood. I stood up slowly, using my walker for show, and shuffled toward the bathroom. Tyler intercepted me in the empty corridor. Grandpa. His voice was urgent, hushed. Are you okay? Do you know who I am? Of course I know who you are, Tyler. What are you doing here? Does your mom know you're here? No. She thinks I'm at soccer practice. Grandpa, I need to tell you something. Mom's lying about you being sick. My heart started pounding. What do you mean? Tyler glanced around nervously. I heard her and Derek talking, her fiancé. They were in the kitchen, and they thought I had my headphones on. But I heard everything. Mom said, we just need to keep him there until the transfer goes through, and then we'll be set. And Derek said something about the house and how much money it was. The house. My house. The 3-bedroom craftsman in Northeast Portland that Catherine and I had bought in 1985. The house where we'd raised Lisa, where Tyler had spent countless weekends as a kid. The house that was probably worth close to $900,000 now, thanks to the Portland real estate market. Tyler, listen to me carefully. I need you to do something for me, but you can't let your mom know. What? I need you to look at my bank accounts. I need to know if any money has moved. Tyler pulled out his phone. I've been checking, Grandpa. I know your password you told me once, remember? For emergencies. Smart kid. I'd given him access when I thought I might need help with online banking someday. And his face was grim. The house was sold 3 weeks ago. $890,000. All of it went into a new account. In Mom's name. The world seemed to tilt. My daughter had sold my house. My home. Mine and Catherine's. She'd sold it while I was locked up in this place. Unable to stop her. There's more, Tyler said quietly. I took pictures of some documents I found in her office. She has paperwork declaring you mentally incompetent. Signed by some doctor named Williams. And there's emails between her and Derek about putting something in your smoothies. To make you seem confused. Drugged. She'd been drugging me. Everything clicked into place with horrible clarity. The smoothies she'd insisted on making for me. The strange, foggy feeling I'd had for months before I ended up here. The gaps in my memory. My own daughter had poisoned me. Faked a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. Had me committed to this facility. And sold my house out from under me. All for money. Tyler, I need you to send those pictures to my email. And I need you to help me contact someone. A lawyer. I already did, Grandpa. I found attorney Sarah Chen, no relation to Mrs. Chen next door. She does elder law. She said what Mom did is called elder abuse, and it's a felony. She's ready to help as soon as you give her the word. I wanted to cry. This 16-year-old kid, my grandson, had more loyalty and sense than my own daughter. But Grandpa, we have to be careful. Mom has Derek watching the facility. He works in security. If they know you're onto them, they might move you somewhere else. Or worse. I understood. We need proof, I said. Proof that I'm not mentally incompetent. Proof that she drugged me. Attorney Chen said the same thing. She said you need to get tested. Blood work, drug screening. She said to ask the facility doctor to run a toxicology panel. That was easier said than done. How could I ask for a drug test without tipping off Lisa? Dr. Williams was clearly in on it. He'd signed the papers declaring me incompetent. But maybe I could use that to my advantage. The next time Dr. Williams came by for rounds, I was ready. Doctor, I've been feeling strange, foggy, heavy. I don't think it's just the Alzheimer's. Could it be the medications? Dr. Williams, a thin man in his 50s with nervous hands, checked my chart. You're not on any cognitive medications, Mr. Harrington. Just vitamins and supplements. Then why do I feel like this? Could you run some tests? Make sure there's nothing else wrong? He hesitated, and I saw it a flicker of concern. Maybe he wasn't as deep in this as Lisa was. Maybe he could be pushed. Please, doctor. I just want to know what's happening to me. I suppose we could run a full metabolic panel. Standard procedure for new residents. Thank you. 3 days later, I had my answer. One of the nurses, not the one who'd been watching me closely, but a different one, older, came into my room with a strange expression. Mr. Harrington, I need to talk to you about your test results. Yes? Your blood work showed high levels of diphenhydramine and zolpidem. Those are the active ingredients in Benadryl and Ambien. Sleep medications. But you're not prescribed either of those medications. I let that sink in. What would happen if someone took those regularly? In high enough doses? Confusion, memory problems, disorientation, difficulty concentrating? It would mimic symptoms of dementia. Could you document that? Could you put it in my chart? She studied me for a long moment. Mr. Harrington, are you saying someone has been giving you these medications without your knowledge? Yes, my daughter. She's been putting them in smoothies. The nurse's expression shifted from surprise to anger. That's medical fraud. That's elder abuse. I'm reporting this to the administrator immediately. Wait. I grabbed her arm gently. I need you to do one more thing first. I need you to call attorney Sarah Chen. Tell her Robert Harrington is ready to move forward. Can you do that? She nodded. I'll call her right now. Things moved quickly after that. Sarah Chen filed an emergency petition with the court, arguing that I'd been falsely committed and that my daughter had engaged in elder abuse and financial exploitation. The facility administrator, horrified by the implications, immediately suspended Dr. Williams and launched an internal investigation. Lisa didn't know anything was wrong until the day she showed up for her regular visit and found me sitting in the conference room with Sarah Chen, a court-appointed psychiatrist, and a detective from the Portland Police Bureau. Dad? What's going on? Sit down, Lisa. She looked at Sarah Chen, at the detective, and I saw the moment she realized everything was falling apart. I don't understand. Yes, you do, I said quietly. You understand perfectly. The detective spoke up. Miss Harrington, I'm Detective Morrison. We have evidence that you deliberately drugged your father, had him falsely committed, and sold his house without proper authorization. We also have evidence of conspiracy with Dr. Williams to falsify medical records. Lisa's face went white. That's not true. My father has Alzheimer's. Ask Dr. Williams. Dr. Williams has admitted to signing documents without properly evaluating Mr. Harrington, Sarah Chen said. He's currently facing an investigation by the medical board. And we have testimony from your son, Tyler, Detective Morrison added. He overheard you and Derek Simmons discussing the plan. He photographed emails and financial documents. Lisa's composure cracked. Tyler? My own son? Your own son, I said, who was brave enough to tell the truth when his mother wasn't. The court-appointed psychiatrist conducted a full evaluation right there. Memory tests, cognitive assessments, psychiatric screening. I passed everything. I was sharp, coherent, and completely competent. There is no evidence of dementia or Alzheimer's disease, the psychiatrist concluded. Mr. Harrington is mentally sound. Lisa started crying. Dad, please. I can explain. We just needed the money. Derek and I are getting married, and we wanted to buy a house, and your house was just sitting there, and you're going to die soon anyway, so I thought. You thought you'd rather have the money now than wait for me to actually die, I finished. You thought you'd just lock me up here, take everything I've spent my life building, and I'd never know the difference because I'd be too drugged up to fight back. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did hurt me, Lisa. You took everything from me. Not just the house, not just the money. You took my freedom. You took my dignity. You made me question my own sanity. Derek showed up then, probably alerted by Lisa. He took one look at the scene and tried to run. The detective grabbed him before he made it to the door. The trial came 3 months later. By then, Sarah Chin had recovered every dollar from the house sale. She'd gotten my discharge from Evergreen Memory Care within days of the initial hearing, and Tyler had moved in with me at his request because he didn't want to live with his mother anymore. The evidence was overwhelming. The emails Tyler had photographed, bank records showing the suspicious transactions. Dr. Williams' testimony, he'd agreed to cooperate in exchange for a reduced sentence, admitting that Lisa had paid him $50,000 to sign the commitment papers without actually examining me. And then there were the smoothies. Lisa had kept a notebook, a detailed log of exactly how much Benadryl and Ambien she'd been putting in my drinks, tracking my symptoms, adjusting the doses to keep me confused, but not so incapacitated that I'd be hospitalized. It was methodical. It was calculated. It was evidence of premeditation. The prosecutor called it one of the most disturbing cases of elder abuse and financial exploitation he'd ever seen. Derek tried to cut a deal. He testified that it had been Lisa's idea, that he'd told her it was wrong but had gone along with it anyway. That didn't win him much sympathy from the judge. When it was my turn to give a victim impact statement, I looked at my daughter, really looked at her, and tried to find the little girl I'd pushed on swings, the teenager I'd taught to drive, the young woman I'd walked down the aisle at her wedding. She wasn't there anymore. Maybe she'd never been who I thought she was. Your Honor, I said, I lost more than money in this. I lost more than my house. I lost my daughter. The daughter I thought I had, the one I raised, the one I loved. She wouldn't have done this. So I'm grieving her like she died, because the Lisa I knew is gone. Lisa was sobbing now, but I couldn't stop. But I also found something. I found out that my grandson has more integrity in his 16 years than some people develop in a lifetime. I found out that there are good people like Nurse Anderson who reported the drug results, like Attorney Chen who fought for me, like Detective Morrison who took my case seriously, who care about protecting vulnerable seniors. I looked directly at Lisa. I hope someday you understand what you destroyed, not just our relationship, but the trust, the love, the respect. You threw it all away for money. The judge sentenced Lisa to 7 years in prison for elder abuse, fraud, false imprisonment, and financial exploitation. Derek got 5 years for conspiracy. Dr. Williams lost his medical license and got 3 years probation plus a massive fine. I sold the house, the one Lisa had already sold. I had to buy it back through a legal mess that took months and bought a smaller place in Selwood. Tyler and I moved in together. He's 17 now, finishing his senior year. He wants to study law, maybe work in elder advocacy. I started a foundation called Silver Shield Education and Advocacy for seniors facing financial abuse. We work with banks to set up trusted contact systems, teach people about power of attorney abuse, and fund legal services for elderly victims who can't afford attorneys. The first person I went to see after everything was settled was Lisa. She was in Coffee Creek Correctional Facility, the women's prison in Wilsonville. I'd thought long and hard about whether to visit, and Tyler had encouraged me to go. You need closure, Grandpa, he'd said. And maybe she does too. Lisa looked different in her prison jumpsuit. Smaller, older. She'd lost weight. When she sat down across from me in the visiting room, she couldn't meet my eyes. I don't expect you to forgive me, she said quietly. I don't know if I can, I admitted. But I came to say goodbye. Not as your father exactly, but as someone who once loved you very much. Dad, let me finish. I've spent months trying to understand how you could do this. How my own daughter could drug me, lie about me, lock me away, steal from me. And I think I know. She looked up, tears streaming down her face. You forgot that I was a person. Somewhere along the way, you stopped seeing me as your father, as Robert, as a human being with feelings and rights and dignity. You saw me as an asset, a problem to be managed, an obstacle to your happiness. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I know you are. But being sorry doesn't undo what you did. It doesn't give me back those weeks in that facility, wondering if I was losing my mind. It doesn't erase the betrayal. Is Tyler okay? Tyler is the hero of this story. He's the one who saved me. He's living with me now, and he's thriving. Fresh tears. Can I write to him? That's his decision, not mine. But Lisa, if you're serious about being sorry, then use these 7 years. Think about who you want to be when you get out. Think about the kind of person who drugs their own father for money, and decide if that's who you want to remain. I stood up to leave. Dad, wait, did you really love me? When I was growing up, that broke my heart all over again. I loved you more than anything in this world. You and your mother were my whole life. I would have given you anything, Lisa. Anything. If you just asked me for help, I would have helped you. But you didn't ask. You didn't trust me. You didn't see me as someone who loved you. You saw me as someone with something you wanted to take. I left her crying in that visiting room. I don't know if I'll ever go back, but I'll tell you what I learned from all of this, and what I tell everyone who comes to our Silver Shield workshops. First, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. I knew something wasn't right from the moment I woke up in that facility, and I should have listened to that voice louder and sooner. Second, set up safeguards before you need them. I'm working with Tyler now to establish multiple trusted contacts, not just one person who has all the power. My bank has 3 people who get alerted if there's a large transaction. My attorney has standing instructions to do an in-person wellness check if I'm ever reported as incompetent. Third, document everything. Keep a video journal. Once a week, I record a short video of myself talking about current events, my daily activities, what I'm working on. If someone ever tries to claim I'm incapacitated again, I'll have evidence. Fourth, stay connected. Isolation is an abuser's best weapon. I'm part of a seniors group now. I volunteer at the library. I have friends who would notice if I suddenly disappeared. Don't let yourself become invisible. Fifth, know your rights. Most states have adult protective services. There are elder law attorneys who specialize in these cases. There are laws against financial exploitation, medical fraud, and false imprisonment. You are not helpless. And finally, this is the hardest one. Sometimes the people who hurt us most are the people we love most. Blood relationship doesn't guarantee loyalty, doesn't guarantee love, doesn't guarantee that someone has your best interests at heart, but it also doesn't define your family. Tyler isn't my biological son, but he's more family to me now than my daughter ever was. Sarah Chen, who fought for my rights, feels more like family than many of my relatives. Family is the people who show up when you need them, who tell the truth even when it's hard, who protect you instead of exploiting you. I'm 68 years old. I lost my house, my savings, and my daughter, but I gained something more valuable. I gained clarity. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of surviving, and I know that there are people in this world worth trusting. If you're watching this and you're worried about a parent, a grandparent, a friend, trust that instinct. Elder abuse is more common than anyone wants to believe. 1 in 10 seniors experiences financial exploitation. Many never report it because they're ashamed, or they don't know how, or they're afraid of the consequences. Don't be silent. Speak up. Fight back. You have rights. You have options. You have people who will help you. And to the seniors watching, you are not a burden. You are not past your usefulness. You are not someone else's piggy bank or problem to be solved. You are valuable. You are capable. And you deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. I woke up in a facility I didn't recognize, accused of a disease I didn't have, robbed by someone I trusted. But I didn't let that be the end of my story. Neither should you.